I think the only ones that haven't settled up is Harolino, who's just spawned out of that high-speed turn 9-10 chicane, I believe. Maybe just on the exit. Bit too many revs. Bit too many Weet-Bix. And they've just gone off there. Almost 4/10 up on Geordie's time there. As I see a yellow flag, and I'm a Noobron has just retired from the qualifying session. I'm gonna try and see what's happened there, but maybe on the as Beano's here disqualified last time. Maybe on the exit of 5. Yeah, it just looked like they spun on the exit. I think everyone except Dr. Amy's going to be on an in-lap or out-lap or in the pit altogether. As they go wide out of the turn 10 and it's a spin. Really lucky that the car stopped and actually spun round more, because otherwise they were heading straight for that barrier. And it's a crash for DRA Geordie. Drivers having to avoid him. And that's actually ruined Gordo's lap, having to avoid them. Really, and it's going to be an Australian on pole position for their home Grand Prix. I think most people will be starting on the mediums, and it's 5 red lights for the sprint race. There's a pause, and it's lights out and away we go. We'll see who gets a good start now. Ice Iron Rhino is going to be alongside with Geordie, who's already passed them before turn 1. And they're battling around the outside. And actually forces Geordie wide, and Ice Iron Rhino is going to go down the inside of turn 2. Battling now down to turn 3. On the outside is Ice Iron Rhino. What can they do? Great driving, they're going to go side by side, and gets a bit wobbly on the exit, so there'll be a bit of a bad exit, and that's allowed Geordie to get ahead. And yellow flags as Dools Daniels spun at the back there, as we join back in the action up the front. Ice Iron Rhino is going to be on the outside, but Geordie squeezing them out, and Ice Iron Rhino is pushing them through that high-speed chicane. So they go down now. The straight. Geordie's just squeezing him out. This is good defensive driving from them. As Ice Iron Rhino is going to go on the inside line, down the inside into turn 1. And they've been clipped. Been clipped from Geordie, who's now going to be vulnerable to Beano's here behind in that Haas car. Spin. Dr. X Amy died. They've spun again. No wonder what's happened. It's a safety car. Maybe on the exit of 2. They've got on the curb. Geordie practically pushing him through turn 5 and 6. Or turn 5. Down this reprofiled long middle section of the track. Round the outside, Geordie going. He made contact with the McLaren's teammate. And he gets through cleanly this time. That's a good pass from Geordie. He puts himself into P2. Yukos here gets another 3 seconds of penalties. And Ice Iron Rhino's just got past Gordo. So Iron Rhino is now just 1 second behind their teammate. And we're coming onto the final lap of the race now. Penalties. The McLaren's battling out into the spin. I think that would have been Lindsay. A bit unfortunate there. Ice Iron Rhino, can they get the overtake done? They're racing to the line, side by side. Who's going to get the win? It's none of them, because Gordo doesn't have a penalty. Gordo's going to pick up P1 here for the sprint race. And here we go for the race. 1 light, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in Australia. And it's lights out and away we go. Gordo looks to get not the best start, and Skits is already in front. They've been overtaken by DeBoy Luke and Ice Iron Rhino and Geordie. And spun round DeBoy Luke by Skids. They go side by side, and almost an identical incident between Geordie and Ice Iron Rhino happened in that sprint before. But Geordie's catching up, and that's a spin for Skids, and they come back on the track, and they've got some damage there. Bonnie Lingard's got many penalties, and they're spinning around. Chaos happening on the opening lap here. Don't know where to look. But I think the best place to look now is the battle for the lead. DRA Geordie started in P3, and it's a miracle start for them. They're up to P1, but not without some competition, as the nemesis from the sprint race, Ice Iron Rhino's caught up, looking to get a bit of revenge on them maybe. Around the first lap they go, and that's Gordo. Oh, and into the barriers. Gordo's out of this race, and that could be a safety car. What's going to happen? That's a nasty incident. And Ice Iron Rhino's also off. There's 2 people off in the same corner and it's a safety car. So the field's just waiting for Bean to go to the front runner and the pace setter, the restart. They're going to wait, let them catch up, and they're going now. Decent safety car restart. What can Haroldinho go? We're going to look further down. Boy Luke just got past Jingjo, who's AFK. But further down, there's a lot of overtakes. I think that's on a couple of people coming in. Lindsay and Amy, who might have had a collision on the safety car there. There's a yellow flag out. There's a spin to Boy Luke and the McLaren has spun, and there's another collision, I think. As Red Bull of Nicosia goes down the inside of the Merc, he's been tagged. Nicosia's got a 3-second time penalty as well, just for good measure. Anyway, we're going to look to their teammate now, Jules Daniel, who's really gaining on Haroldinho's. Boney Lingard gets past Chicken Joe. They're going down the straight. DRS won't be active yet, but they don't need DRS. They're staunched past the Alfa Romeo. There's another spin. It's Boney Lingard, who's going to be overtaken by quite a few people. And I wonder if the boy Luke can catch up to him. Oh, that's a huge crash for DRA Geordie. Luckily, he still keeps the engine running, and somehow that car's wheels stay on it. That's another spin. It's DRA Geordie, and Geordie's out of the session. Must have been a fair clonk with the barriers. That's a safety car, as best we can. We see Boney Lingard or Skids for someone doing a bit of lawn mowing there in the background. There's just chaos on the safety car restart. And I'm a Nubitron up front. He's maintained that lead behind. And there's just 4 or 5 people right next to each other. But we're going to look up front, I think. And OC goes wide. And it's going to open up quite a fair gap. And I think Boy Luke's had a crash. And they're out of the session, but we're going to keep watching this fight up front as Jules Daniel's gone down the inside of Bean OCA. And they've made it stick into that heaven. It's another safety car. Wow, 3 safety cars in 10 laps. And here we go, safety car reset. I think Jules Daniel got the better of that restart compared to the Williams. Probably not close enough to go side by side. Skids gets a 5-second time penalty as they come into the pits. Turn 8 and 9, I believe. And I'm a Noob goes wide. And that's going to allow Jules Daniel to get past on the inside line for the lead of the race. It's on 5-lap pressure tyres. But what really gave him that opportunity was Nubitron going wide. They go wide, bend the track limits a bit. But they're going to go down the inside of I'm a Nubitron. Into the reprofiled corner. They go a bit wide. Could allow Nubitron to get past. Doesn't let him. And he goes wide. It's a spin for them. And it's actually a retirement for them. Beanotti was looking strong. They were leading this race at one point. They're out. He's been impressive all weekend. He's just got one more corner to go until he can see the finish line and see P1 for the Australian Grand Prix. He started this race in P13 and he's going to end it in P1. Jules Daniel wins in Melbourne. That's a great win. It's been impressive all weekend. One of the best performances I think I've seen. I'm a Nubitron, comes home P2. Great points for the Williams team. They had quite a race here. Good battle with Bean OC until Bean was gone, and Haroldinho comes home to claim 3rd for Alfa Romeo. Really good points. Very well deserved.